Good morning. Welcome to Bitcoin Bounce. My name is Joseph and I'm here with Dion. So today we're going to look at an interview by Mark Yusko. And he said something very interesting. He said that in June, that dip, that was the low of Bitcoin. Now, I love that he's saying that because we follow Steve from Crypto Crew. He also believes the low is in. And so now you got kind of two professionals that say very clearly the dip is in. But Mark has an interesting philosophy. He says, the cryptos go through seasons. So you went through a winter season when market fell. Then you go through a spring season where it's not summer, so it's not rallying. So it's like a spring season where it's sometimes cold and rainy, sometimes it's hot, and it's kind of like up and down, up and down, up and down. And so people's emotions are sometimes connected to that graph. Every time it goes up, the emotions is happy, and every time it goes down, then the emotions is sad again. And so the idea is just to say, you know what, we're going to reign straight for a while, but Bitcoin is not going to go lower. But at any moment, and you could say, okay, now we're entering into summer. And so if you don't kind of DCA into the coins right now, summer season can be upon you, and in 2 or 3 days, the market can go up 20-30%, and then you missed out on that. Tell me, Dion, you've been now through about two up cycles in Bitcoin. You've been trading Bitcoin a little bit longer than I have. Tell me, how fast did it feel when Bitcoin actually started to go up? What were you surprised when you wake up the next morning and it just went up?
Yes, for sure. And I remember that time so clearly when we just couldn't believe every morning we would wake up, it just like pumped 15-20%, then drops back maybe 5, then pumps 25, next day drops back 7. We just couldn't believe it was just making new record highs again and again and again and again. It was just insane. Yeah, I've actually got this rainbow chart which clearly actually shows that this little blue level, I think, is what he's talking about now, is like the spring season. You have these up and down, up and down, up and down days, but after that there's just this massive rally to the top side. And yeah, again we could see that just the up and down days, and it was a very nice rally there. And at the moment, we've looked at this before, we're in that exact same phase where we just up and down between those levels, but waiting for that massive spike. And as you say, that could just, if we look at this one here, it wasn't long that we were down here, and then the next minute we just shot up. That was a very big rally. We were there for just like a few days, and it just shot up, as you say. So you can't sleep. You have to. Now is the time just to get in, because you never know when that spike's coming.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially if you're planning to hold on to your Bitcoin for the long term. It's a very safe. It's very dangerous to buy at the high. It's very safe to buy at the low. So people might say Bitcoin is dangerous right now. Look how much it fell. But it's actually now is the time where it's safe. Hey, well, let's jump in and listen to Mark's interview. I trust this is going to really be inspirational for you.
Do you think that markets have bottomed, or what chance do you think markets have bottomed versus how are you 2023?
No, again, it's a big question. Look, I do believe that crypto winter ended June 13th. I think the 17.5 wick on Bitcoin was the low. Doesn't mean it's impossible to go lower, but I believe that was the low. And I think we're in crypto spring. Now, crypto spring doesn't mean straight up, right? Straight up is summer. So crypto summer, parabolic, that's probably first quarter next year. So spring is more choppy. It's like, think about spring. It's cold, it's warm, it's windy, it's wet, it's muddy. It's kind of not good, not bad. It's just kind of yuck. So that's what we're kind of in. I think we're going to have a lot of volatility and a lot of yuck. Good for traders, but most people aren't very good traders, but not a lot of movement up or down. In the equity markets, we're still really expensive. Like stocks, even though they're down, was down 30, now down 25 after the last 2 days, we're still in the 93rd percentile expensive. So stocks could fall a long way and still be overvalued. But if the Fed is going to pivot and is going to stop raising rates, they don't even have to print money, but if they just stop raising rates, we'll have a little bit of a face melter, and that could be good for some people. I think we're in recession. I think we could turn into depression. So I'm not a buyer of equities. I am a buyer of digital assets. I think Bitcoin sells, a third below its fair value. I think fair value is 30,000 and we're selling at 20. So I'm a buyer of that. ETH is tougher for me. I'm not a proof of stake fan. I like the old proof of work. I don't know. Do I think it has momentum, and do I think it's like a toolkit for other developers? Yeah, but here's the problem. There are a whole bunch of ETH killers. Now, none of them have been able to kill ETH to this point, but they're still trying. And you got Solana, and you got Avalanche, and so if you're bigger, better, faster, stronger, and the only thing you could point to before the merge was, well, we're proof of work and you're not, now you're the same. So I don't know. That one I'm struggling with. And I do think it was a buy the rumor, sell the news thing. So 900 to 1700 was the move. And, could we go back to 900? I don't know. But so I want to like ETH because I think it is the future. I think it's a toolkit. But I do think there are other things competing with it. Like I'm a big Avalanche fan and things like that. Then you got a whole bunch of other stuff, which, look, this is probably the wrong channel to talk about this, but I'm not a fan of the dogs. I think they should not exist, right?
We'll talk about it. Yeah.
I literally think they should go to zero. And I said, look, that this bear market would be over when Doge was zero. And it came close, kind of, not really, but it went down a lot. But I just don't see any value. Now there is one Parler, the old alt-right social media site, is thinking about using Doge as a captive currency for Parler, like a decentralized Twitter. And that would piss me off, because then it would actually have a use. And so then it wouldn't go to zero, but then it would be more like a stable coin. So it wouldn't really be tradable. But so I'm just not a big fan of number go up stuff. But any project where you're working toward being better, faster, stronger than traditional tech, I'm a fan of. So, I like what's going on at Polkadot. I like what's going on at Cosmos. I want to like Algorand because they're really, really smart, but I can't quite get there. A lot of people want me to love XRP, and I just can't quite get there. I don't know. I'm open to be convinced, but I'm struggling, guys, with, if you think about the internet, right? There were 80 protocols and we went to 5. Today we basically use 5, right? There's IP at the bottom, and then there's TCP IP that sits on top of that. Then there's FTP for files, SMTP for email, HTTP for websites, and www that kind of ties it all together. So if we're going to go to that world, there's 2 versions. Is it Bitcoin is the base layer, Lightning is the second layer, and then there's an L3 and an L4. But I don't know what the toolkit is for Bitcoin. There just doesn't seem to be a natural toolkit. Or is it a single stack where Bitcoin is the base layer like TCP/IP, Filecoin is like FTP, Ethereum is like the www, and then we duke it out with Avalanche and Solana and Cosmos and Polkadot for the SMTP, HTTP. I don't know. Or are we going to have a multi-chain world with lots of L1s and we bridge across all of them? I don't know. That's the $64 trillion question, and that's why we're all here, and that's why we're all working on this. But I still, in any of those worlds, the reality is the vast majority of the projects, the protocols, went to zero. Just like the vast majority of currencies in the history of the world have gone to zero. So only a few will survive, and trying to figure that out is kind of what it's all about. And that's why I'm probably not a put all your eggs in one basket. I'm probably, spread your bets a little bit, and don't be afraid to take venture capital bets on projects that have venture capital profiles. But remember, pre-seed stage venture capital has about a 98% loss ratio. And the problem I see for people is they put too much in one place. And then if that happens to be the one that goes to zero, then they get wrecked. So why not have a diversified portfolio and spray and not pray, but then as things get traction, double up? The average person wants to double down. They want to prove that they're right. That's a horrible strategy. The market's right. You're wrong. Look, the legends, and I've been blessed. I've had, some mentors in this business that absolutely legends. Julian Robertson, God rest his soul, just passed away. I've spent time with literally all the greats. I mean, I had a great job for years. I got paid to talk to George Soros and Paul Tudor Jones and Stan Druckenmiller and just people I shouldn't even be in the same room with. And if you talk to those people and you analyze those people, the very best of the very best, they're right about 58% of the time. The average person is right about 1 out of 3. Those are bad odds. So it's like going to Vegas, right? If you go to Vegas, you hit the hand big, stop, just leave. You won. But if you keep playing, all the money and then some is going to the house because the house wins, because the odds are in their favor. And so if you think about investing, knowing that the odds are stacked against you, when something starts to work, there's a reflexivity, as Soros describes it, that it becomes self-fulfilling. So you should probably press that bet. But the average person doesn't want to do that. The average person, as soon as they're up 10%, pulls their flowers and they water their weeds trying to prove they're right. No, pull your weeds, live to fight another day, take your losses fast, and then press those winners. Now, it doesn't mean to go all in on one thing, but continue to rebalance into other new projects, but don't be afraid to just leave stuff that just doesn't work.
Well, thanks, Dion. We had some good videos today. I hope you are inspired to buy Bitcoin. Guys, we're going to be back tomorrow again, and we're going to look at what is happening with Bitcoin. Dion is going to hopefully have another good signal for us. Thank you very much, Dion. Thank you, guys. See you tomorrow.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day. See you tomorrow.